Oh, that's weird. Should I just take it off? Um, no, it's gonna be the same thing. Huh? Spend 24 hours, I need more hours with you. Thanks, Ray. Reverse, pansinin mo ko. Uy, magpansinan daw kayo dyan sa baba, oh. Actually, yes, I've tried the Brilliant, Miss Glenda's Brilliant. Yung white. Yun lang ang tinry ko, yung white. And I love the white hat. Kasi very, ano talaga, very sensitive on skin ko, so I'm scared to try new stuff. To all the new viewers coming in, welcome, welcome to you all. Our topic for today is mental health. We'll be having a mental health advocate come in and talk to us about his experience about all this and maybe give us a lesson or two sa mga kaalaman niya when it's in terms of mental health and all that. So I gathered some questions na mga inask niyo sa IG live ko and also on Twitter. So we'll be going through that later. Antayin-antayin lang natin siya kasi he's in a meeting right now. But while we're at it, hello Eunice, thank you. Hyperactive, hello. So while we're at it, guys, please do let me know nga pala if he pops up in the comment section because I told him to just message me lang. It's Carlito. Ito na po ba Kumu mo? Yes, Jay-Z. This is my Kumu. I go live twice a week. It's Quincy every Tuesdays and Fridays at 7:30 p.m. Thanks, Sass. Thank you. Chris Bay. Huwag niyo naman ako tawaging human Barbie. Nakakahiya. I think it's just because of my blonde hair, diba? Thank you, Hannah. Josa naman daw sabi ni Ray. Y'all are so cute. Okay, so ito na nga. Ang tagal ko magkwento, guys, diba? So I was just talking about the workshop. And then, yun nga, I asked Direct, like, kailan na ba namin mapag-find out if we're moving on to the next level or staying in the introductory class? Because it depends kasi. Depende sa naging performance namin throughout our 10-week workshop. Malalaman namin kung papasa na ba kami sa advanced class or ma-retain kami sa introductory class. But either way, I'm so excited to continue learning more when it comes to acting. Kasi it's you really have, there's so much to be learned and to rehearse pagdating sa acting. It's all about practice and really working hard. Pero can you guys just imagine, pag nag-move on tayo sa next level, syempre that star will be with baka maka-eksena tayo other artists. So interesting. Look where we are now, and that's not only me, but yun din yung mga ibang other housemates. They all have this opportunity that I'm so grateful to have. Quincy, kami na maghuhugas ng pot. No, I love maghugas. Alam niyo yan, mahilig ako maghugas. Actually, today wala kaming helper. So kahit umuulan, we have an outdoor kitchen kasi ngayon kasi wala pa kaming bahay. In the middle of the rain, naghuhugas ako ng pinggan kanina. Yes, pinggan. Ano nga yun? Ano nga yung pangluto? What is that called, guys? Mga kaldero. Yun. Nakakaasar lang pag sobrang langis. So, binababadan ko. Tapos, sinalga ko ng maraming soap. Yeah, yung mga pan and stuff like that. Yun. Kawali. Exactly. Hello, Jamski. Lagyan mo ng mainit na tubig kapag malangis. That is so true. I can do that. Tapos minsan, di ba yung iba pinakukuluan pa? That actually works. Okay. So ito, let's talk about first. Kasi in the next 2 weeks, may guest nga ako. I do need some help. What should we cook in the next 3 weeks? Magla-live ako na nagluluto ako. Can you guys give me suggestions para makapag-prepare naman ako? Kasi parang kailangan ko mag-prepare talaga at practicein ko para alam ko yung sunod. Ayoko na ng adobo, nagkamali na ako sa adobo. Nakakatakot ng adobo, baka super alat or super acid. Kahit anong menu. Ano yung humba? What's humba? Huwag tayo mga peso, huwag tayo pasta. I wanna challenge myself. Dapat mas mahirap. Dapat dish talaga. Ayoko mang daya at lang. Wow, feeling magaling magluto. Parang kaldereta, mahirap yun Lechon, anong gagawin ko sa lechon? Pipiritusin ko? Paella, that is so hard to do though. You know what? I'm looking at caldereta. Pansit habhab. Actually, parang masarap magpansit, pero madali lang ang pansit. Lalagyan mo lang yun ng chicken, lalagyan mo lang ng liver, lalagyan mo lang ng carrot, lalagyan mo lang ng green beans, string beans, or something. Madali lang yun. Pero caldereta, medyo challenging. Menudo. Pero hindi ako fan ng menudo. I want caldereta or Bicol Express. Grabe naman si Nika, wala kang bilib sa akin. Pansit canton talaga. Kare-kare, sabi ni Kay, madali lang yung peanut butter lang. Wow, peanut butter lang. Pritong isda? Huwag naman prito, baka naman magsawa kayo sa sigaw ko. Thank you, Erica, for hello party. Baka mag-grabe kayo sa sa sigaw ko pag nag-prito tayo. Natawa si Cheng. Ray, kakanta ko habang nagluluto. Pero di ba sabi nila, bawal kumanta habang nagluluto? Ano nga yung pamahiin na ganun? What is that, guys? Bawal kumanta. Ay, pero wala pa naman ako asawa. So, I guess it's not. We can sing along while I eat. While I cook. Siguro pwede naman yun, di ba? Ay, hindi daw ako magkakaroon ng partner. Should I give it a try? Patatim. Ang patatim ba yung parang medyo minatamis ang something? Yung ba yung patatim? Yung parang matamis siya na something? Yeah. No, I'm gonna go for Bicol Express or ano nga isang ko kanina? Ano nga yung isa, guys? Hindi afritada ba yung sinabi ko? Caldereta, there you go. Guys, please tell me what's the difference. Hello, Tita Rian, good morning. What's the difference between binagoongan? Pero madali lang binagoangan. May bagoong lang ako na nasa bottle, lalagyan ko lang ng bagoong yun. Hindi, ayoko nun. Can you guys tell me the difference, please, of afritada and caldereta? Ano pong pinagkain? Mag-debone ako ng bangos? Mahirap ba yun? Caldereta is spicy. Afritada, chicken, caldereta. Okay. Afritada is chicken. Caldereta is beef. Ay, yun lang ba yun? Kumakasabi naman ako ng, Carlito is here! Welcome natin siya. Give me a few seconds. Kumakasabi naman ako ng ayoko ng caldereta. Ayoko ng afritada. Gusto ko caldereta. Yung pala pareho lang sila. Magkaiba lang ng meat. Sino yung idol kong lalaki? Wala naman ako sinasabi na idol akong lalaki. Meron ba? Hindi na. Wala na akong idol na kahit. Wala na. Okay. Si caldereta na nga lang tayo. Okay. We have our special guest here na. Pero because my V8 ain't working, I'm gonna use my headphones. Hello! Thank you, Wen, Team Quincy official. So ito na, guys. Thank you so much kay Sir Karl. Si Carlito for gracing our live stream kasi he's a mental health advocate and I'll have him introduce himself in a little bit, okay? Let's welcome him first, guys, because I'm so honored that he's here sharing about his knowledge and his expertise as a mental health patient and advocate. So let's all learn something from him, okay? Let's all give Carlito the warmest welcome. Carlito, akyat na! Carlito, yoo-hoo! I already followed you kanina. Welcome, Carlito! Carlito, nandiyan ka pa ba? Naka-lock? Ay, in-unlock ko na eh. Okay. Sorry. Ayan na. Hello! Hi,
Hello.
Carlito!
Hello, Quince.
What
Can you
up?
hear me?
Wow! Yes, I
Okay.
can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, wow, may pa-mic si Carlito. Wow.
Mm.
Alam mo, tawag nila sa'yo, Sir Carl. Wait, may
Oh, for
nagsa-static.
some
Ikaw ba
reason.
yun?
Talaga?
Sino nagsa-static, guys?
Ako ba? Teka,
Baka ako yun. Yeah, ikaw. Pero okay lang yan. Masakit ba? Ay,
Sige,
sa
give
akin daw!
me... Ah, sa'yo ba?
Si
Wala ko
Quincy po.
naririnig? Ah,
Okay,
okay.
wait lang.
Wala naman ako naririnig, so it's okay.
Hangin na, sige na nga, papatayin ko na.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hinaan ko onti yung mic. Hala, hindi ko alam hinaan kasi nakakonect lang sa phone.
Okay.
Layo ko lang.
Hoy, in-off ko na.
Evening
Okay.
po.
Good evening, everybody. Is this better to for everyone's like headphones and all that? Are we all good?
Okay naman.
Okay na. Okay, again, I'm so sorry for that. Ano, welcome, Carlito.
Okay lang.
Okay. Wow. Si Carlito, actually, hindi na siya that weird na hindi naman kasi ito ang first meeting namin ni Carlito. Alam ba nila na nagkita na tayo?
I think so. Yung iba. Pero
Guys,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yung
really a
iba,
meeting. We just met for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes,
at
'di ba?
least we met in person. Yung iba
Ah,
kaya dito,
yes.
lagi kong kausap. Di ba, si Carlito naman, hindi pa pala niya kinoconsider yung nagkita kami na nagkita kami.
Because we didn't
Alam ba?
talk at all, 'di ba? Parang hi,
Yeah, because
hello.
you and Gil,
Kamusta?
syempre, friends na friends kayo ni Gil. So, I let you guys be. Si Amanda nandun
Sabagay.
sa side. I didn't want to like leave her hanging. Pero yes, Carlito, first and foremost, alam ko namang kilala ka na ng marami dito ng Team Gale and Team Quincy. Team Gale especially, because Carlito is a good friend of Gale and a big supporter of Gale as well and all other housemates. So thank you, Carlito, for, visiting. It's Quincy. Pero I want to allow you to introduce yourself first to everyone viewing our stream. Take it away.
Okay. Hi everyone. A shout out to kay Nat. She's the one who set everything up. So Nat,
Oh, si Nat
thanks.
ba yun? Hi, Nat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
siya yung nag-set up dun sa admins. Anyway, yep, hi, good evening everyone, good morning if you're in the other side of the globe. Ako si Carl, that's where Carlito comes from. I'm an IT professional by day, part-time teacher in IT, and a mental health advocate and animal welfare advocate. So yun, so I was invited here to talk and answer some questions on mental health, tsaka I guess life advice in general. So hopefully we will be able to answer your questions and give you, advice that could help you make your lives better.
Yes, yay! Thank you, Carlito. And I'm sure naman most of you guys are following him na sa Twitter, and he does have a side na very knowledgeable lahat ng tweet niya. So we're so excited to talk to him virtually. I've gathered your guys' questions na, and you guys can ask live questions then if he can answer it.
Yes.
Let's all hear about it, diba? Pero ask muna tayo mga questions. I know your name is Carl, diba? So what made you call yourself Carlito? Or is that really a nickname of yours?
No. Ano lang siya. Kasi I didn't want to put my real name. Kasi sa
Mhm.
Kumu, 'di ba? So Carlito seemed like a good nickname. Tapos
It
the reason that it's
is.
for is because taken na yung KA. So 4
Mhm.
looks like an A. So that was the entire reason. Kasi some people were asking, ano ba meron sa 4? 4 ba birthday mo? Is it an anniversary?
Yeah.
Ganyan. It's not really. I mean, yun lang kasi yung number that I thought of at that time. That's why it became Carlito. And then, I learned later on, kasi di ba pag gumawa ka ng username mo, you don't really, doon ka palang may introduce dun sa app and everything. And then I learned
Mhm.
later on, oh, Carlito pala is the mascot of Kumu. So, kaya naging
Yes.
Carlito yung picture ko. If you've seen me dun sa earlier part of my Kumu journey, yung picture ko was
Mhm.
the Carlito icon before. Pero pinagbawalan na ako ng Kumu Police. So, I had to change it. Copyright
I see.
kasi.
Wait. Oo. Pero wait,
Mm.
kasi may nakita na rin ako recently na Ate Carlita. Is it a friend of yours or
I
anything?
actually don't know. Parang lumabas siya after yung guesting kay Gail. Lumabas yung
I
Carlita and then
see.
there's Ate Carlita. Magkaiba pa yung Carlita tsaka Ate Carlita actually. Pero I don't see
Oh, pero
them talking anymore. So baka sandali lang sila.
oh, well, nakakita ko ng Ate Carlita dito. So, hello, Ate Carlita.
Oh,
If you're
hello
still
Ate
here.
Carlita, kung diyan ka.
Okay. Okay. I wanna ask. Kasi nga, since nakita mo na ako in person, kahit hindi tayo nag-usap, I want to ask, ano yung impression mo sa akin virtually on social media? Kasi, di ba, nagka-interact na rin naman tayo sa Twitter and all that.
Mm,
So, ano yung first impression mo sa akin noon sa social media? And what was your impression nung na-meet mo na ako in person? Kung may pinagkaiba ba? Although we didn't really
sige.
talk much.
Yeah, okay. So
Anything.
sige, yung first impression yung from PBB, obviously. 'Di ba? So when you came in, you were introduced Brainy Balikbayan, ganyan.
Mm-mm.
I think I share the same impression with everyone na very classy, very brainy nga, ganon. And you were very, very pretty the first time you came in, ganyan. Tapos, sa Twitter naman, hindi ka rin ganun kasi ka-active sa Twitter.
Ano,
Like,
yeah.
you do siguro for a few hours a day.
Uh-uh.
Um, pero so it's not really, I mean, kung paano ka nagsasalita sa TV when
Mm-mm.
we watch you, it's the same thing. Ganun lang din yung dating mo online. But when I saw you in person, and I'm not joking for the folks listening, kasi I was talking to Gail, napagkukwento ka namin ni Gail before, and then I asked
Mm-mm.
her before, parang sabi ko, I think I saw you had this live stream na parang nag-put on ka ng makeup or something. Tapos
Uh-uh.
nag-live ka sa Instagram na wala ka pang makeup. Tapos parang minessage ko si Gail nun, sabi ko, Gail, ganito ba talaga kaganda si Quincy even
Hala.
without makeup? Oo nga,
Ring light
sabi
yun!
niya, no.
Ito nga
Sabi niya,
rin,
no,
sira ni ring light.
she actually looks better in person. Hi, Gail. Tapos,
Wow! Gail's here!
yun, andyan siya. Oh, true though. So yun nga, and then when I saw you, it's actually true. I mean, for the folks here, if you see Quincy in real life, I mean, the screen doesn't do justice on how pretty she is. So, totoo yan.
Wow naman! Ang bait-bait naman ni
Objective
Carl.
yan. Ah.
Grabe naman.
That's an
Wow!
objective observation.
Subjective na yan. Wala na
No,
tayo
that's
sa ating
objective.
makakakita. Puro, thank you, Tita Rian!
Wait,
So
is
yun,
it Tito Rian or Tito Rian?
kahit anong gusto mo. Kasi ako, tita.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Bahala ka na. Or Racco the
Hi,
Cavapoo.
Tito Rian.
Pwede ring daddy, pwede ring T-Rex, kahit ano sa itawag.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but thank you for your sweet comments, Carl naman.
Objective
Kasi
naman yun. It's not subjective or anything. It's true.
sige na, thank you na lang, di ba? Ayun ang
Thank
tinuro
you
ko
na
kay
lang.
Gail. Pag may
Mm.
sinabing, mga ganyan, say thank you. So, thank you so much, Carlito. Um, Gail, daming compliments kay Quinty umuusapan.
Uy, marami akong
Ay,
compliments kay Gail. Grabe naman kayo.
oo. Close to close yung dalawa. Kasi actually, kasi yung table, doon sa kinainan namin, ako nga yung naging third wheel sa Garmondo noon. Si Amanda at saka si Gail, magkatabi sila in one set of table. Tapos nandun ako sa kabila. Tapos dumating si Carlito. Tapos umupo siya doon. First meeting naman namin. Syempre,
Mm.
mas close sila ni Gail. Kaya ako, Gail, palit tayo ng upuan. So, ayun, kaya sila nag-usap ni Carlito. Do you have the picture?
Isa
Who
lang,
has the
yung group picture
picture?
lang natin. Tapos I have a picture
Oh.
with Gail na nasa phone niya and she
Oo.
hasn't sent it to me yet.
Ay, Gail, isend mo na daw.
Ayoko yung picture na yun, hindi ko pa post yun kasi kitang-kita yung height difference namin ni Gail.
Wow! Ay,
Ganito
nako.
kami, ganyan. Yan.
Pero, grabe naman yun. Grabe ang height nung dalawa, si Amanda at saka si Gail.
Oh,
Buti na.
na-surprise ako kay Amanda. Grabe, parang
Ang tangkad ni
nakakahiya
Amanda,
siyang
di
tabihan,
ba?
no?
Oo, like, can you
Intense.
imagine? Tuwing katabi ko yon, sila pa ni Gail, okay pa, pareho silang model yung height. Pag ako tumabi sa kanila, ako talaga yung bunso nila kahit mas matanda.
O yung bunsong
Okay.
ate.
Anyhow, okay. We'll answer some of your guys' questions here and there sa live when we get a chance to look down there. Pero gusto ko na munang unahin yung mga questions na inas talaga nung mga tao first on my IG story. So thank you guys so much for those of you guys who dropped your questions. I'm sure these are all relatable. I'm not gonna be saying your guys' names because I do want to keep those private. Pero I'm sure a lot of people can relate. So let's start this topic about mental health. All right. First and foremost, what is mental health ba? And what do you believe are the causes of mental health happening nowadays?
Okay. Sorry, before I answer questions, it's
Yes.
been a feedback na kasi before that I look down during streams and I don't smile. I mean, that's normal. Sorry, ganito lang talaga mukha ko. And then I need to look down kasi may notes ako. I
Oh,
have
okay,
notes
okay.
that I refer to para lang tama na I'm sure na tama yung sinasabi ko. Okay,
Of
sige. So
course. Go ahead,
para lang
please.
that's clear. O sige,
See, pinaghandaan
mental
talaga
health.
ni Carlito. Oh. Prepare siya.
Oo.
He
Kasi
wants to make
syempre
sure
it's a
that all the
sensitive topic.
information, yeah, and he wants to make sure that everything that he does say out here, because we are sharing our knowledge here and there, is something na
Yes.
tama rin, as accurate as can be, diba?
Yes. Okay.
All
So,
right.
well, the question is, ano yung question? What is mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
In
Yes.
general. I mean, in general, mental health is just one aspect of your overall well-being. Di ba? Meron kang
Mm-hmm.
physical health, meron kang emotional health. Mental health is just as important. It's just as it's similar to physical health in the sense that you need to take care of it. Merong hygiene practices in order to keep it healthy. Ganyan. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, not just in the Philippines maybe, but also worldwide. Now, we
Mm-hmm.
don't really equate mental health or let's say, sama na natin yung emotional health na lang din. Pero we don't really equate yung intangible health natin to the physical health. Like for example, if you're, let's say, depressed, if you're sad, we call that an emotional injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people would actually tell you, tulog mo lang yan. Just, walk it off, ganyan. Huwag ka na mag-inarte. Pero if you have someone who has a broken foot, for example, you won't say the same things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we need to change, and that's what we're advocating for. I mean, yung mental health organizations that we support, right? That we donate to, ganun yung advocacy nila. We want to make sure that people understand na yung mental health issues are just as important as your physical health issues. So, yun siya.
Thank you. And alam din naman natin, especially for those who have mental illness and all that stuff, alam natin how our mental health truly affects like our physical well-being as well, diba? Like our overall
Yes,
well-being.
yes.
It really translates to that. It's all connected. So may mga nagtatanong dito. Before we start our situational questions here and there,
Mm.
differentiate mo nga sa amin para sa'yo, emptiness versus sadness and anxiety versus depression.
Emptiness versus sadness? Or is it all
Mm-hmm.
four?
Or
Or
all four
emptiness and
then.
sadness na?
All four.
Sige, kasi I would consider yung emptiness, let's say feelings of emptiness, feelings of
Mm-hmm.
sadness. Those would be what I would consider low moods. So actually, when you talk to psychiatrists, they would categorize that as low moods. So you have high moods,
Mm-hmm.
which is happiness,
Mm-hmm.
euphoria, ganyan. And then you also have yung low moods,
Mm-hmm.
feeling sad, feeling fatigued, feeling lazy,
Mm-hmm.
ganyan. So emptiness and sadness would fall into those. When you talk about low moods, kasi if they are normal, low moods, they usually pass. So usually a day or two, wala na, right? You would
Mm-hmm.
be demotivated one day and then you just sleep it off and then the next morning, okay ka na. You can function
Mm-hmm.
well. So that's what a low mood is. It doesn't really persist. Usually it's triggered by something. Like for example, you had a bad day at your job, tas parang tinamad ka the next day. But that's what a low mood is. But it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to understand, and this is what's very difficult for mental health kasi low moods actually overlap with anxiety, and then anxiety overlaps with depression. So those are kind of the three levels. So it's very hard to actually identify kung low mood lang ba siya or
Mm-hmm.
anxiety siya or depression siya. But there are markers. So yun yung
Mm-hmm.
probably I will discuss later. Kaya nga, normally if it's a low mood, you would categorize it as something very temporary, very normal, something that you encounter day in and day out. Now, when you talk about anxiety naman, anxiety in itself is part of human evolution. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
if you're familiar with the fight or flight response
Mhm.
na sinasabi sa science, right? That is what anxiety basically is. It teaches your body what is good for you and what is not good for you. So let's say naglakad ka in a dark street somewhere,
Mhm.
na-hold up ka doon. Chances are hindi ka na dadaan doon uli, 'di ba? Because
Mhm.
that's your brain telling you and giving you yung correct sympathetic nervous system, sinabi sa comments. That's your brain
Wow. Wait.
associating the environment with the stimulus na okay, this is unsafe, I shouldn't go here. So anxiety
Mhm.
is normal, it's part of, human evolution. It becomes an anxiety disorder. So that's the actual term. So pag sinasabi niyong nagkaka-anxiety ako, that's actually incorrect. It should be anxiety disorder kasi yun yung
Mhm.
actual illness. When you say anxiety disorder, this is when your anxiety is on overdrive. So para
Mhm.
siyang hypersensitive siya in a
Mhm.
way that it actually interferes with your life and it's already in an unreasonable level. So, okay lang ang anxiety, but an anxiety disorder happens when it interferes with daily life. Okay? And then lastly, in depression, which is the more serious or most serious probably of all of those, um, it has a lot of overlaps with anxiety. Most of depression or depressive episodes start as anxiety attacks, panic disorders, ganyan.
Mhm.
Pero generally, someone is considered depressed if the symptoms, so there's a list of symptoms, I think 14 siya, 14 markers. Um, if they're consistent for 2 weeks or more. So kung 2 weeks
Mhm.
or more and then majority of your day you're experiencing the symptoms, you can be classified as a patient or someone who would have clinical disorder or clinical depression. So those are the
I
differences. So they're very, very similar in the sense that the
Mhm.
symptoms are the same. Pero yung gravity of how often they happen and how long they happen is what differentiates them.
I see. Thank you. Kasi ako talaga, I've heard of these things, pero you explained that to me again and being reminded of how those things are different is truly, like you understand more kung ano yung nararamdaman mo. Kasi it's very common for a lot of people to say,
Mhm.
nakaka-anxiety ako. Like, so, yeah, like anxiety can be common, but we need to know
Mhm.
how to differentiate that from an anxiety disorder. Is that what you said?
Yep, disorder. Mhm.
Anxiety disorder. Because, in all honesty, I do have anxiety disorder. Would you
Mhm.
say that someone has anxiety disorder? Like, of course, you said there are some markers.
Mhm.
Or pag may anxiety disorder ka ba, you have to be medicated. If you are medicated, you automatically fall in that category.
Normally, if you're medicated, you qualify for something clinical. So clinical anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
clinical depression, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't imagine a psychiatrist um, prescribing medication to someone who isn't clinically, qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Na parang you have an anxiety disorder, you have major depressive disorder, right? So if I guess if you're medicated, you could call yourself like a clinically diagnosed patient, parang ganon.
With anxiety.
So, pero yun nga, it doesn't
Ooh.
really, depende kasi, some people nagkakaroon lang ng anxiety disorder, you wouldn't really call it an anxiety disorder, let's say an attack, dahil lang sa
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, right? They're normally very stable, siguro nagkaroon lang ng very big emotional thing, kaya nagkaroon
Mm-hmm.
ng parang attack or something, pero it doesn't progress. So, yun din kasi mahirap with mental health disorders. It's not very clear at this point. We don't really know a lot about it, which is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi yun nga may stigma kasi tayo na if it's mental health issues, parang ayaw nating lumalapit sa professionals. And what happens is, the less people go to mental health professionals, mas kumukonti yung research natin. So,
Exactly.
we actually have less data to understand and to study because we don't have a lot of patients. So, kaya mas konti yung alam natin compared to physical health when we talk about mental health.
Pero alam mo, kasi I know that there's this thing about like, syempre sa Philippines, mas parang hindi masyado ina-acknowledge yung mga mental health, di ba, ganyan.
Yes.
And
Yep.
they're not as sensitive about the topic or they don't treat it of importance as much
Mm-hmm.
compared to other countries like in the US. Like it's very normal to, um, like if you're going through something, talk to a psychiatrist, be
Mm-hmm.
medicated, the ganyan, like all that stuff. It's normal, like left and right, like my colleagues and my friends and like my classmates, even me included. Like I've seen psychiatrists, I've talked to them,
Mm-hmm.
like may mga therapy sessions here and there. And nung pag-uwi ko dito, I expected it to be worse. I mean, it's still not great, pero mas it's not as, I mean, maybe because I'm being surrounded by people like you guys who
Mm,
are advocates of mental health. Pero definitely it needs more push on that area. Pero sana we can all
yeah.
work together, and I'm sure I feel like this ano naman is kind of growing na rin because people are being
Mm-mm.
more understanding of like, syempre, ang rami na ngayon, lalo ng pandemic, di ba? Like, a
Yes,
lot of people are going
definitely.
through so much and really realizing the big effect that
Mm.
this all has on
Yep.
everyone.
Yep. Mm-mm.
Okay, thank you for that, Carlito. Okay, someone here says, nah, how do you know when someone is going through mental health problems? Because usually you don't really see, diba? Are there some, like, especially some mga friends natin, like, not everyone is very open about like
Mm-mm.
sharing that they're going through something.
Honestly, it's very hard to actually determine that. Kasi lalo na ngayon, 'di ba? It's a pandemic. You're not together with your friends or with your loved
Mm-hmm.
ones. Normally virtual kayo. Babasa lang kayo ng text. It's not always na nagvi-video chat kayo and you can use body language and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's very hard. So again, there are markers. Like for example, if it's a close loved one, like a family member, if you see any differences dun sa routine nila, like for example,
Mm-hmm.
oversleeping or undersleeping, overeating or undereating, not being motivated with the tasks that they usually are motivated of, those
Mm-hmm.
are telltale signs, right? Tapos yung mahirap kasi dun, if that happens, like lalo na with the older generations, right? If a kid or if their child acts that way,
Mm-hmm.
they would consider that as pag-iinarte. And I think it's a
Yes.
generation, it's a culture thing, right?
Yes.
And the reason that is mentioned mga kanina na it's not as bad when you got here, yung mental health
Mm-hmm.
situation. I think that's because of mas mas yung generation ngayon that is yung professionals
True.
right now mas open-minded na. I mean, it
Yeah.
was really bad like 5 years ago, 5, 10 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. I can still remember na yung nung treatments ko, wala pang bills or coverage or anything for mental health patients, and it was really very expensive to get treatment. So yun yung nagiging factor talaga why, I mean, dito sa Pilipinas, why a lot of people don't really go to professionals. Pero yun nga, I think it's very hard, but if you need to just keep on checking with your loved ones. Kumustahin niyo sila, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't really yung pangangamusta, like even na simple na kumain ka na ba or how was your day, ganyan, that really works wonders when you're talking to someone who may be depressed. So it's a good prevention step. Pero yun nga, just check up on your friends because mental health issues, they're not very easy to detect with the
Yeah,
naked
and
eye.
then even sometimes, the more you ask, hindi mo alam if they're already at that moment that they are willing to finally share. Kasi di ba may mga moments
Correct,
tayo na
oo.
tanungin tayo, sasabihin, yung in denial tayo, or ayaw nating i-share, ayaw nating pag-usapan, sabihin lang natin, yeah, yeah, I'm fine. But there are times na biglang natanong tayo, then we're finally willing to speak up and talk about it. Like, so,
Yes.
like a simple, like, question to your guys' loved ones would truly, truly
Yep.
help.
Mm-mm. Correct.
Um, ito. What are some coping mechanisms now for someone dealing with mental illness?
Coping meaning to get better, ganun.
Yeah, pero it kind of depends
Uh,
kung ano what they're going through, diba?
Oo nga eh. Pero I think if the question is more of if they're asking for tips how to deal with mental health issues,
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really very basic. I mean, what I always tell people when they, kunyari, when I started the Twitter account and when I started with the mental health talks and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I usually get DMs from people asking, ano po ba dapat kong gawin because I'm feeling this
Mm-hmm.
and that and this and that. The first thing I always ask is, well, first two things. Are you eating enough? Are you sleeping enough?
Mm-hmm.
Kasi yung eating and sleeping, those are two very
Correct.
important things that affect your mood. Which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of ironic because when you're depressed, when you have mental health illnesses or anxious ka, hindi ka makakain, hindi ka
Mm-hmm.
makatulog. Diba? So, it kind of defeats the purpose. So, what I always tell people is make sure that you're eating nutritious food and that you're
Mm-hmm.
sleeping enough. So, 6 to 8 hours a day, eating 3 times a meal, balanced meal, all of that basic stuff. Tapos, the next step that I would actually tell people is, are you getting enough exercise or sunlight? Lalo na ngayon, we're all
Mhm.
indoors.
Yes.
There's really something about the sun. I don't really know the scientific specifics of it. There's something about feeling yung sunlight in your face, ganyan, that actually lightens the mood.
And
Di ko
we
alam
feel
kung
it
ganun
naman eh,
kayo.
'di ba? I mean, I feel it because I have a
Mm,
tendency of always staying indoors and I'd rather not go out, ganyan. But when I do get a chance to like walk around, nature, ganyan, the sun and like the breeze, like it gives you a different feeling. Parang napapaisip ka and like it just relaxes my mood. So definitely there's
right.
something out there in nature that truly benefits us. So medyo
Yep.
galaw-galaw lang tayo and ano ba, struggle. Quincy is my
And
son.
sees
Wag
my
ka namang
son.
ano. Okay. Let's see. Sabi dito, advice to people who won't admit to themselves that they are going through mental health problems. Yung ibang mga in denial or ayaw sabihin kasi ayaw nilang masabihan sila ng all these things, especially may mga, syempre may mga groups na not very
Mm.
welcoming or ganon, or mga family na sasabihin lang nag-iinarte here and there. So, what can you recommend to those people na, they don't want to admit to themselves that they're going
Okay.
through
I mean,
something, but they
it's
do need help?
what I'm going to say is going to sound very, very generic. And if you
Mm-hmm.
try to search online and type, how can I deal with mental health issues, they will tell you something like this. Pero um, number one is you wouldn't really be branded as weak if you come
Mm-hmm.
out that you have a mental health illness. Kasi yun nga eh, you wouldn't say the same thing to someone who has a physical injury. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to accept the fact that mental health injuries or mental health issues are at the same level as physical health
Yeah.
injuries. I mean, it doesn't your physical health affects your mental health and vice versa. So you need to consider them as equals. Yun nga, it doesn't make you really less of a person to seek professional help, talk to a friend and say, "Hey, I'm feeling bad," or um, I've not been feeling myself for the last week or so because mas accepting naman na kasi yung generation talaga ngayon. Like coming out with a mental health illness is being seen as a type as a strength, not a weakness. 'Di ba? We have all
Mm-hmm.
of these celebrities coming out na, oh yeah, I've been
Mm-hmm.
taking medication, I've been taking therapy, and they were, actually commended for it. If you did
Mm-hmm.
that 20 years ago, baka sira na yung career mo, 'di ba? Baliw
Yes.
ka na, whatever.
Exactly.
So mas madali ngayon mag-come out with a mental health issue, right? So don't overthink it, I would say. And I thought this dun sa I had a live stream yesterday talking about yung stoic lifestyle. And
Mm-hmm.
the one of the key teachings there is you stop overthinking things. So they say that most of the things that you're worried about are very imagined and they hurt you more than the actual thing itself. So if you're afraid of coming out and, talking to people because you think you will be judged or branded as weak, take a step back and understand na baka imagination nyo lang yun. You're worrying about
Mm-hmm.
something that may not even happen at all. Diba? So you're
Mm-hmm.
spending a lot of energy worrying about something na baka hindi naman mangyari. So why not just try and, talk to someone? Ganun.
Mm-mm. And the example that you gave is actually like if you're maybe talking to a different generation, yeah. The example that you gave with like physical injuries, like just giving that example to someone can make them realize na, ay, oo nga, we
Yes,
should be
oo.
treating it as equal, diba? So a simple example
Mm-mm.
like that to either your parents or your grandparents kung hindi nila masyado maintindihan yung other generations na ganyan. Like let's educate them as well because it's I mean mahirap din because they didn't grow up with that kind of surrounding na very welcoming
Correct,
to
oo.
mental health and all that stuff and not really educated as much. So
Yeah,
yon
and
and
if
but
it's a
you
healthy family naman, I think they
mm-hmm,
would be very accepting of it, right?
yes.
I mean,
Mm-hmm,
unless you have deep-seated issues, I don't think it will be an issue. So just
mm-hmm,
talk to them. Baka inaantay ka nga lang din nila mag-open up. No.
yes. True, true, true. But you did mention overthinking na nga. So, in
Mm.
that, may mga questions din dito somewhere na, because we know a lot of people overthink. How do we not overthink ba? Or like for you, do you overthink? And if you do you have any strategies of how you stop yourself from overthinking? Because we know naman
Um,
that overthinking is not getting us anywhere, but we still do it
mm.
anyway.
Puwedeng underthinking na lang. Yeah. Well, sige, I don't know if it works for everyone because I
Uh-huh.
myself, I overthink from time to time. I mean, no one's perfect. I think probably every other day I overthink or maybe daily I
Mm-mm.
overthink. Pero what I've been doing recently is yun nga, I've been practicing what's called the stoic lifestyle. And
Mm-hmm.
um the core of it is you divide the things that you can control, and you divide and you separate that from the things that you can control. So when you
Mm-hmm.
overthink things, you're actually overthinking about things that aren't really in your control, 'di ba? Like for example, what to do. Let's say you're anxious about a grade or the result of something's work, right? Most of those things, if you're just waiting, um, those are not in your control anymore, 'di ba? Nasa
Mm-hmm.
teacher mo, nasa boss mo, or
Yes.
anything. So if it's not in your control, you're just spending a lot of energy, um, worrying about something na wala ka naman ng magagawa on.
Mm-mm.
So ako, I just tend to think that. So it's very hard because our brains are hardwired to worry. Part yan ng evolution natin and ng pagkatao natin eh. I mean, when something bad happens, we tend to worry. So you need to be very rational, I would say, and train your mind and your body na kapag merong something that would trigger you in overthinking, you take a step back and then try to be logical about it.
Mm-mm.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Sinasabi ko. I mean, lalo na kapag mga emotionally charged na mga pangyayari. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
tendency mo talaga go ka na eh. Diba?
Oo.
Pero it really helps if you take like like 15 seconds or a minute to just think about, wait, ano ba yung sitwasyon? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it really worth worrying about this? Is it really worth, spending a lot of emotional energy on this? Or should I just worry about it kapag nandiyan na siya? Parang ganun.
Exactly. Kasi
So
we
yun,
have even sometimes, 'di ba? Like we just keep repeating the things that we're worrying about na wala naman
yes,
talaga
oo.
mararating. Like, and yes, you vent to your friends. Hello, Amanda, if you're here. Joke lang. Kill si Amanda, 'di ba? Pagka, si Amanda, hindi ko na nga ilalaglag si Amanda dito. Pero, yeah, kailangan lang maintindihan ng yeah, it's totally okay to vent to your friends like over and over. We're always here to listen about it. Pero the more you overthink din naman, it's not good for yourself din naman. And it's a good training then to, yes,
Mm-mm.
acknowledge the situation, acknowledge the problem that you're worrying about. And yes, if there's a solution, then work on it. If there's no solution, which is tendency to pag nag-overthink tayo, wala talaga
Mm,
solusyon, out of our control, like you were saying, put it aside and acknowledge just that.
yep.
So, yon. I was gonna ask something. I totally forgot. Um, Teka, sorry ha. Oh, ito. Kasi, di ba, minsan sa mga mental, like, to take care of our mental health, maraming nagsasabi na it's okay to say no when whether it's like going out with friends or whether you're asked to do something. It's okay to say no if you do need that space or you do need that time for yourself.
Yes, oo.
Pero, may mga times din naman na you can't say no to something because saying no to something will just further stress you out in the long run kasi what exactly did she say here? Sabi niya dito, pero what if taking that time off would only lead to more piles of workload and unaccompanied deadlines? So it isn't pure rest at all, but added pressure and stress later on.
So is it talking about like motivation? Tama ba? Parang ganun yung
Um,
dating sa akin eh. Or hindi?
Hindi, like how do you handle burnouts? I know rest would be the answer, 'di ba, saying no to things. Pero what if
Ah,
taking time
burnout.
off and saying no is hindi naman makakatulong later on?
Marami kasing factors eh. When you talk about burnout, you have the factor of yun nga, you have the workload, first of all. If you're
Mhm.
working, yun yung pinaka-important, right? You're burnout because sobra-sobra yung workload mo. Um, but there's also the factor of the company culture kasi, right? How do they view mental health issues for their employees and how do they address that? Kasi sa amin, like for
Mhm.
example, we're a very mental health friendly company.
Mhm.
So when you're burnout, really, they don't really take that against you. So you're allowed to rest, ganyan. But it's not the same thing for everyone. So yun nga, I think it just needs to be balanced in a way. Though. So if the
Mhm.
person who asked the question, um, they will just need to balance yung trade-offs kasi. So if I put this off, pero eventually if I say no, sa akin din naman babagsak yung trabaho, should I
Mhm.
just do it now? and then
Mhm.
take the full rest later. Kasi yun nga, yun yung sinasabi niya eh. I want to rest, pero I can't because if I rest now, I'll just think about the things that I haven't really finished yet. So is it an
And it'll
option to
just pile up
actually,
later. Uh-huh.
yeah, so is it actually an option to just do everything muna tapos tsaka siya mag-rest, di ba? So I mean, there's a lot of
Mhm.
different ways to answer it. Pero yun nga, just think of the trade-offs, I would say. Kasi I would assume that person is already working, is an adult. So hindi na siya, there's a certain part, there's a certain age at your life na you just need to be an adult about it and just do the work. Really.
Mhm.
I mean,
Paano sa mga students naman? Do you think mostly sa mga students naman, if they're having these things na you can't say no to not doing your homework, your projects, and all that stuff? Because if everyone else is doing it, so can you.
yeah, if it's a motivation question, what I've actually, I mean, if the issue is motivation, right, wala kang gana gawin yung homework mo.
Mhm.
There's actually scientific research, and I've actually done it
Mhm.
myself, and I've
Mhm.
tested it, and it actually works. That motivation is not needed for you to take action. What happens is that you actually get motivated once you start yung action. So the advice of experts is, kapag demotivated ka, is just start doing the thing.
Mhm.
Perfect example niyan, alam niyo yung pag naglilinis kayo ng bahay, sobrang nakakatamad maglinis ng bahay, 'di ba? Pero when you
Sa
start
umpisa.
making progress, 'di ba? Eventually parang ayaw mo na tumigil, gusto mo na tapusin lahat kasi you're already motivated to
True.
do it. So it's the same concept. So when you feel down and you can't, finish your papers, etc., parang ganon, just start doing the thing and then motivation will come after.
Di
You
ba?
can try
Parang
it.
yung
It works.
workout. Yeah, kasi
Yes.
parang now that you've said it, like parang sabi ko, oo nga sa workout, tamad na tamad ako ba? Once I actually have that outfit, once I naka-sweat na ako at nag-run na ako or already doing something, I'm like, just finish it. Like I'm already
Yep.
at it, just
Mm-mm.
go for it. So most students out there, I know lots of students are out there. If you're not motivated to do your schoolwork and whatnot, just start it. Thank you, Tita and just start
Thank
it,
you.
and then you'll kind of get in that habit, Nana. This will
Yes.
just make me finish
It
stuff
really
and no
works.
procrastinating.
Tsaka maganda siyang practice for the students when you become adults and you can't really say no. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
most times you just have to suck it up, lalo na sa trabaho. So, the earlier that you develop that skill of sucking things up, the better off you'll be eventually.
Yeah. Thanks, Javelin. Hello, hello, Javelin. Okay. Uh-huh. Ito, kasi minsan nga naman, maybe kaya rin naman tayo very full on workload na and nasa-stress na tayo about certain things is because social media. Javelin, thank you so much. Minsan, it's because we spend too much time on social media na, diba? That we get consumed by all these things happening that we kind of forget to live outside of that social media world that and realize na, we have like, chores and stuff to do outside this whole social media thing and outside our phones and all that. What do you what can you suggest about like or have you done mga social media breaks and all that? And has
Yes,
it
I
worked
take
for
social media
you?
breaks regularly. I mean, recently
You
hindi
do?
pa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hindi halata sa Twitter account ko, pero I do take
Minsan
social
nawawala
media
ka.
breaks.
Paano ang
Oh,
break mo? Sample. Like
um,
mga how long?
it really depends. I mean, the moment that I feel better, so it can be just a matter of hours, can be just a matter of days. Depende dun
Mm-hmm.
sa um level of stress that you have. Pero yun nga,
Mm-hmm.
it's very recommended to take social media breaks. Kasi yung social media, and I don't know if you've heard this lecture, there was this guy named Simon Sinek. He's a leadership person.
Mm-hmm.
He's arguing the fact that social media, I mean, sa brain chemistry, every time that someone uses social media, it kind of triggers the same reactions in the brain that gets triggered when someone takes drugs. So social media is very addicting.
Mm-mm.
So they're actually advocating. I think some countries have actually started advocating for regulations around social media. Di ba yun yung pag mga bata, kunyari, nililimit yung social media time.
Mm-mm.
And that's because, yun nga, social media has that effect. It's not something that
Mm-hmm.
is apparent to us. Pero it's very
Mm-hmm.
important to take the breaks. So yun nga,
Yeah.
make sure that you take the breaks, right? Lalo na if it gets very overwhelming, if it gets very stressful, there's no rule saying that you don't have to take a break. Take a break for 2 weeks, take a break for 3 weeks, whatever, right? Just do it. Like if importante yung social media sa life mo, just make sure that you let the people who are important to you or let the people who matter know that you're taking a break. Pero just take a break. Uninstall or ano pa ba?
Delete the app
Whatever.
muna.
Delete the app, ganyan, log out
Yeah,
or something para hindi ka na
ganyan.
notify. Yep.
Pero in all honesty, the only time I did a social media break was during nasa bahay ako ni Kuya. And grabe,
Oh, okay.
without social media or like phones in general, iba yung effect. Like parang mas nakita ko yung value of all the other things surrounding me. Like my interaction with the people around me. Like there's more time talaga. Like ang
Mm.
raming oras. And
Correct.
mas na-appreciate mo talaga everything around you. Pag hindi ka
Yep.
lagi nakatingin sa phone. Because there's so many things happening around us. But we're so
Mm.
consumed on like on our phones talaga always.
Oo.
Pero yes, ako din. Like I do want to have some like ako ngayon because I don't want to have the hassle of, deleting the app ganyan. I'm trying to have like a schedule of the times lang when I go on social media, whether it's in the morning and then at night, pero not like so babad na always checking notifications, like
Mm.
refreshing and refreshing. Like maybe that'll also help for people with work or with school. Like give yourself that, like, if you guys want to have like free time or rest time to social media, if that is your, your I know way of like taking a break, make sure to limit yourself. Mag-timer kayo or whatnot. Kasi I know that feeling sometimes sa gabi, sabi ko, matutulog na ako but I'm checking social media. Pero hindi ko alam, naka 3 hours na pala ako. Sabi ko, Diyos ko, past midnight na. Like, alam mo yun, may times na nag-scroll-scroll ka na parang tuloy-tuloy na lang and you just get taken here to there and it's
Yes,
just
oo.
crazy. And also, my time sa social media when you tend to it changes your mood then if you kind of start comparing yourself to other people living
Yes,
their lives
oo,
and you
oo.
tend to see their lives in social media. Don't
Mm.
forget, people only put out there what you guys want to see. It's not their real lives happening out there. Kaya it's
Right,
always the
right.
grass is always greener on the other side. So don't always say na bakit ouch struggle. Ano
Hurt
sinasabi
na
mo
hurt na siya kasi
dyan?
wala daw siyang self-control sa social media niya.
Hindi naman,
True,
pero
oo.
meron. Sige,
Medyo true
bahala ka.
naman.
Assuming ka daw, Carl. God,
Hmm,
doesn't struggle. Ay, nako. Pero, yeah, may mga times nga na, ako, I clean up my feed. If I don't want to see someone's post or something, unfollow or kahit mute lang. Or hide yung
mm.
post.
Yung mute, actually
Ganon,
mute
guys.
works. Mm.
Yeah, mute works. So ayun guys, clean up your feed if you're seeing like all depressing stuff or mga toxic stuff out there.
Mm.
Clean up your feed because nakakasira yan ng araw, nakakasira ng mood, and it also affects the people around you. So be careful with what you are putting on your feed. Clean it up a
Yeah,
little
sorry,
bit,
can I just
guys.
say one thing? You
Go
mentioned
ahead.
it earlier, yung sa
Hmm.
comparison.
Yeah.
I've said it several times to people, pero just for those who haven't heard it yet, the only comparison that matters when you're comparing yourself to something is yourself yesterday. As long as you're better today than you were yesterday, okay na yun. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 100. I said that yesterday. Pero yun nga, as long as you're making progress, being a better person day in and day out, okay na yan. That's progress already.
Yeah, kasi
Everything else doesn't
ako,
matter.
yeah, syempre, alam naman natin lahat, we do have the tendency to compare our lives to other people. Kahit sabihin natin we don't, kahit not necessarily it means that we're jealous of other people, but of course, there is that comparison na nagaganap lagi. Pero always revert back to yourself and remember, where were you yesterday? Where were you last year? Like,
Yes.
marirealize nyo, oh, wow, like, this is how far I've come. So, give yourself a pat on the back. It's not a
Mm.
race. That if you tend to treat your life as a journey in life na race, hindi nyo na may enjoy yung present moment. So that's something I try to learn on a daily then is to live in the present moment and
Yep. Yep.
continue to be grateful and then just like focus in the present. Kasi later on, wala na. Basta, focus on the present, guys.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for that, Carlito. Okay, ano pa? Du-du-du.
You're giving the
Um,
same answers I would give. Kahit
ay,
siguro di mo na ako gines, nasagot mo yung mga
wait,
tanong.
no, arami ko kayo matututunan kay Carlito. Sabi ko sa kanya, nung una ko siyang message, I'm so excited to learn more stuff from you. And I've actually learned a lot, ha. Sabi niya, no, hindi kaya. From sa akin daw. Sabi ko, ano matututunan mo sa akin? Mag-ayos ng buhok sa harap ng light.
Mag-makeup,
Ay,
ganun.
nako. Mag-makeup. Pero done na ang makeup ko. Hello, Erica Perez. Ay, may tanong nga pala si Erica sa'yo. Erica, anong
Yes.
tanong mo? Hoy, Erica, anong
Wala ba
tanong
dun
mo?
sa list?
Wala sa list.
Oh, okay.
Tingnan natin kung sasagutin ni Carl. Anong huy? Bilis
Ano
na.
nga? Tanong mo na.
Erica, bilis na. Inaantay ka ni Sir Carl. Actually, si Erica, isa rin yung nagawa ng graphics. Lahat ng gumawa sa graphics team namin, lahat ang guest is Sir Carl. Si Erica ba yun? Tapos nag-message siya sa akin, sabi, hala, Sir Carl ba dapat? Sabi ko, hindi, okay lang if you already did Carlito.
Hindi
Pero
ko
lahat
alam
sila
saan
Sir
nag-start yung
Carl.
Sir Carl. Pero, andun na eh. So, okay, fine.
Ay.
What's the question, Erica? Sabihin mo na.
Ayan, si ano,
Single ka ba?
ayan.
Yan ba? No, I'm in a relationship.
Ayan na, Erica.
Mm.
May follow-up question, Erica? Wala na. Erica left the stream.
Ano
Bye
ba
na daw.
yan?
Ay, nako ka. Erica. Hindi ko siya pinatulog kagabi. Sabi ko, ikaw na magtanong. Pero alam ko na ang sagot. Kasi sinabi sa akin ni Gail. Sabi niya,
Oh,
ano
okay.
nga? She's so interested in finding out, ha? Hindi ko sinabi she's interested in you. She's interested in Erica, okay ka lang?
Okay.
Nandiyan ka pa?
Oh, harmless question
Okay.
naman na. You ask that to other people.
Kaya nga. Pero may something kay kay Erica. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. Basta pag si Erica, pinagtatawanan ko yan. Kakanta yan. Kakanta si Carlito maya-maya. Answer pa siya more
Ouch.
questions kasi may mga ouch? Actually, sabi ni first message ko sa kanya, ano nga ba? Basta about guesting ganyan. Tapos sabi niya, kung ano daw ang song request ko. Sabi ko, kahit ano, basta alam ko yung song. Sabi niya, kaya nga
Yun
kita
nga. Tapos
tinatanong.
you didn't give me any song. Kaya wala
Kasi
akong
hindi ka,
pin-prepare.
walang
Wala
prepare,
akong,
I'm sure. Marami ka dyang alam
I mean, I
na
know songs,
kanta.
pero hindi ko alam kung alam mo. Diba?
Pag hindi ko alam, popopos kita, tapos next song tayo. Para ma-enjoy ko
Ayan.
naman. Or baka si Gail, malalaman ni Gail ko ano. So, antay-antayin lang kayo dyan. Kakanta si Carlito bago tayo mag-end. I promise you that. Sagot mo siyang more questions kasi nag-send in sila ng questions. Dapat masagot. Okay, sabi dito, paano mo matutulungan ng sarili mong ma-avoid being in the state of feeling depressed and it ends up, like you hurting yourself or not eating. Like if you don't want to seek professional help, what can you do if you're in this like
Mm.
depressive state?
So, parang emotional hygiene. Ganun. Maybe. Uh, I mean, sinabi ko na kanina yun ngayon. Yung
Mm-mm.
take care of your physical health, right? Yung nutrition, sleep, exercise. Exercise really helps a lot kasi if you've heard of the term na runner's high, you've
Mm-mm.
heard of runner's high, um, physical exercise actually triggers yung chemicals sa brain mo that give you the feeling of pleasure. So the
Mm-mm.
more that you exercise and the more that you run and everything, it actually helps with mental health. So those would be your top three: food, sleep, and
Sleep and
exercise. As
exercise.
other than that, you need to be very conscious about your thoughts, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
know about the thoughts that pass through your minds and ano yung pinag-iisipan mo araw-araw. And then learn to understand what those thoughts are. Which of those are valid, which of those may be, overthinking lang or worrying that isn't really good for you. And then build the habit of having a healthy mindset. It doesn't really make sense at this point kasi it's a very lengthy subject, right? Yung
Mm-hmm.
emotional hygiene, your mental hygiene, it takes practice and it takes a lot of willpower to actually conquer yung wired na functions ng brain and ng mindset mo. Pero yun nga, just be very, very conscious of your thoughts. Kasi walang nakakarinig ng thoughts mo other than you. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to be very conscious about what ticks you, ano yung mga triggers mo. Ayun pala, if you're mentally depressed or if you have a mental health issue and you're clinically diagnosed, one of the first things that doctors will tell you is that you avoid the triggers, right? If an event triggers you or if a person triggers you, you avoid that because the
Mhm.
tendency is we're not strong enough to actually fight yung feeling. Lalo na if you're, still on medication, ganyan. So
Mhm.
avoid the triggers and knowing what those triggers are, kayo lang makakapagsabi nun. So be
Yeah.
very conscious about your thoughts.
Thank you. Pero and also, but when it gets to a point na talaga na you feel like you really can't control it and do it yourself, it's okay to seek professional help talaga.
Yes,
It's
please.
okay.
Yes.
Talk to
Oo.
your family, talk to your friends, tell them what you're feeling because if you can't do it yourself, there's someone out there who truly cares for you and willing to help you out in this situation that you're going through.
Correct. Oo. I
Believe
would
it or
really
not,
tell
it's
people
true.
na kapag if it's getting worse and everything that you're trying to do isn't working, pumunta ka na sa ospital. I mean,
Hmm.
they're there for a reason. Pumunta na
Yes.
talaga kayo.
And you're not alone. Everyone has done it.
Yep.
People have done
Sorry,
it.
may question dito. True po ba na
Yes.
kapag kumain ng chocolates nag-boost yung happy hormones? Yes, it's true. Pero it's very temporary. Chocolates have something in them that kind of increases yung um, absorption of a particular brain chemical that induces yung happiness. I just don't remember if it's serotonin ba. I'm not sure if it's serotonin or something else, pero it's one of the happy hormones. So, it works,
Melatonin
pero
daw.
it's melatonin is for sleep.
Yeah, seriously. But a good guess. Good guess. Okay.
Serotonin daw. Yep.
Thank you, Ali
Sorry.
B. Um, Sabi dito, sometimes hindi ko maintindihan yung mga iniisip ko. Well, that's part of overthinking then, diba?
Mm-mm, I would
Or,
say. Yeah, or maybe they're overthinking, or maybe they just have a lot in their minds
mm-hmm,
that parang na overwhelmed na. When you get overwhelmed, try breathing exercises, meditation. That
mm-hmm,
that was said. People say that that works. I haven't really tried it, so I can't really say for sure. But there's a lot of studies saying that mindfulness meditation works. Breathing exercises, just taking a few minutes off and then just being in the moment actually helps clear
mm-hmm.
your mind. So, try that, then maybe just organize your thoughts. Minsan, lalo if you're talking about overwhelming dahil ang dami mong dapat gawin, tas parang sabay-sabay sila, you need to frame it as a problem. So don't say, I have a lot of things to do. Say that, I have this many things to do. Ano yung priority ko? List them down and then do them one
List.
by one. It's a scheduling
Yeah.
question. Hindi siya
Yes,
overwhelming
exactly.
question, really.
Yeah. If you have that big thing like happening in your brain na mix up na talaga, the best way talaga. It's some people they list it out like they have to do a handwritten, sometimes schedule nila sa calendar nila.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, lahat yan masusolusyonan at matatapos nyo. All you have to do is prioritize and list things out and you will get through it. Hindi ka lang
Yep.
makaka-get through dyan if you just keep on saying, I have so much to do. Hindi ko alam ang unahin ko. You know kung anong uunahin mo. Just list it out and prioritize. Kaya yan.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So, that was a fast mga like 15 minutes left na lang tayo and we're pretty much answered a good portion of all the questions that they
Talaga ba? Did we
sent.
miss anything?
Yung isa, like a big bulk of it is like anxiety and stuff like that. So
Okay.
let's just talk about it in one bulk. Kind of like what I mean, we can like reiterate it na lang. Kasi ang mga tanong here, how do you avoid panic attacks? So I would assume like avoiding your triggers then, diba?
Mm-mm. Yep. Well, another thing that I would
Or
add when you're talking about anxiety in
mhm,
general and yung mga fears, this is going to sound so counterproductive to people, pero believe me when I say it, that the best way for you to conquer anxiety or irrational fears is to face the fear itself.
mm,
So, kunyari, takot ka sa heights, try
mm-mm,
to go to high places.
mhm,
Kasi yung anxieties and fears na yan, they start in your mind and they exaggerate the fear itself. Yung mga phobias na yan, I mean, yes, there are phobias na hindi mo ma-conquer or will be part of your life. Pero most of the anxiety disorders or the anxiety triggers that you have, most of the fears are really imagined. So if you really
Mhm.
want to conquer those fears and those
Face it.
anxieties, yeah, gawin nyo lang sila. I mean, if you don't like swimming, go swimming. If you ako for example, I have an irrational fear of the water before because of Jaws. If you know
Mhm.
Jaws, the shark movie. I hated the ocean before. Pero, taking a few snorkeling tours, ganyan, diving lessons, and then eventually, okay, I love the ocean now. So, you just need to face it kasi that validates yung reality that hey, it's not as bad as I think it is. And it helps
Yeah.
you overcome the fears and the anxiety.
True. Good thing that you brought that up because it truly reminded me of my biggest fear talaga. I've said it before and I don't think people believe me, pero totoo talaga. My greatest fear before is public speaking. Kasi there was a moment now, one time sa class, like I was just so stressed and I every time I really present a project or present or have a presentation in class, I tend to memorize everything that I say. Mine-memorize ko
Mm.
lang talaga because ayoko mapahiya when I run out of words na sasabihin ganito, ganyan. And there was this one moment that I had a big presentation na nakalimutan ko yung, I didn't have much time to memorize everything. So when I was up there, I was just really studying everything and like kinakabahan ako, my hands were shaking. I ended up reading from the script and that is so not me. Na parang yun yung naging trauma ko. And it took me a while to finally do public speaking again. And ang moment talaga na finish ko ulit yung fear ko is literally Kumu live streams. Kumu live streams ang sabi
Oh,
sa akin ni
okay.
Kuya, Kumu campaigns na sabi ang kailangan namin gawin is to go live. So just go, I've never gone live and I hate public speaking. I try to avoid it as much as I can. Pero if I have to do something, yun, I ended up doing the live streams and the more I did it, I slowly overcame that fear and mas na-realize ko, so what if I make a mistake talking to you guys? So what kung hindi yung magustuhan yung sinabi ko? This is me. Like, not everyone is perfect. Like, ganun lang, di ba? So
Pero
yes,
does it
guys,
help
face your
that you can't really see your
fear.
audience sa Kumu? Did it help you?
Um, no, parang at this point, ha, because I've
Mm.
probably been doing live streams here and there. Either way, I mean, mas masaya sana kung buti na nga lang yung mga people na nagwa-watch, they're very engaging. Pero kung wala naman sa akin
Mm.
kakausap, nakaka-awkward din naman yon.
Ang hirap 'di ba? You
Pero,
can't really
mahirap.
gauge kung engaged ba sila or nakikinig ba
Oo,
sila or something,
oo.
'no?
Kaya, keep dut-duting, keep engaging with me at the bottom. Let me know how we're
Yes.
doing. Pero yeah, they're also nice naman. Mga Team Quincy's here and Team Gales are always here then. They're all very nice and very welcoming naman. So, that is great. So, yun lang. Nag-share lang ako. So, yes, it's true. Anong di mo sure? Kailan na ba? Pero yeah, guys, it's so true. Face your fears. Pero you gauge it yourself. We're not saying na face your fear na
Yep,
just go na
oo.
lang. Like one step at a time. Give yourself that time to adjust then with this
Correct, oo.
situation that you're going through. Okay. Ayan na, Carlito. I think it's time for you to sing.
Wait, ako may tanong ako sa'yo.
Guys,
You studied pharmacy, 'di ba?
ano? Yeah, like mga semester and a half, tapos sabi ko ayoko na. Kasi nung nasa
Hindi mo
hospital ako,
tinapos?
natakot ako. No.
Ah,
Ano
do they
na, kasi,
actually teach you? Kasi na-curious lang ako kasi 'di ba doctors, yung handwriting nila hindi maganda. Do they actually teach you how to read that?
um, no. Pero actually, I had
Ah,
that subject na parang, or baka hindi ko na lang inabot ha. But we would kind of like, because we do have to memorize, at least for my first semester, we already had to memorize the top 300 drugs, generic, brand, tapos what it's for, and then yung mga
oo.
doses. So if you see in a prescription na medyo kita mo yung doses, yung number, especially 5, 10, 20 milligrams, and yun na-associate mo na kung ano bang name yon, medyo mako-compare mo na in that sense. Pero yun lang, it's all about
Hmm.
memorization lang siguro.
Na-curious lang ako kasi I bought medicine a few days ago tapos parang hindi ko mabasa yung nasa reseta ko.
Oh.
Paano naiintindihan ko?
Pero
Okay.
usually talaga yung mga doktor, hindi ko sila gets. And we do have a tendency when we do get some prescriptions sometimes, when I was a pharmacy intern, itatawag lang namin sa doktor to like double check kung ano ba talaga
Hmm.
gatong reseta mo, or look in the system to find out kung ano na ba yung reseta before, or find out what their medical condition is para ma-identify mo kung anong medication.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Curious lang
Yon,
ako.
yon. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for listening to Carlito and I. And hopefully you guys learned a lot because I learned something and I'm sure you guys all did as well. So ayan na nga, sabi ni Nina.
Anong ayan na? Oh my God.
Alam nyo na kung ano na yan. Gusto ko manggaling kay Gail. Gail, anong request mo? Kailangan manggaling kay Gail. Gail, nandiyan ka ba ba? Bakit ba? Anong bakit? Bakit ba kanta? Hi, Tito Rian, thank you. Bakit ba ang kanta? No, dapat ikaw. Siyempre, ikaw sa'yo manggaling.
Ikaw
Ba't
daw
hindi niya ginawa?
mag-decide.
Ikaw
Wait lang,
mag-decide.
magsiset up lang ako. Wait lang.
Okay, wow. Ayan, Gail. Nagpre-prepare na siya. Gail, dapat yung alam kong kanta. Bilis. Okay, go. Mag-request kayo. Si Gail ang ultimately yung pipili. Go. Tas pili si Quincy. Pati si Gail. Bilis na. Ayan na, namin na sinasabi. Ay, BGC! Ay, dapat may ganun din. Pero hindi. Dapat si Gail lang nandito pag kung BGC. BGC? Kay Gail na kanta yun, dapat nandito si Gail pag nangyari yun. Wag yun. Let's give that to Gail. Do I know your universe? Sample nga, Gail. Hindi ka ba pwede dito umakyat din? Paano yun? Anong tell me something? Pwedeng i-type yung lyrics? I suck at like titles. O, sige, search ko na nga. Okay, ano nga yung sabi niyo? Universe ba yun? Type ko na nga para malaman ko. I really suck at ano eh. Ano, universe? Your universe. Your universe. Oh, never ko pa ito nakinig. By Rico Blanco. Tingnan natin.
Narinig ba
Guys,
ako?
sorry. Yeah, ngayon kinig ka na.
Okay.
Kanina hindi. Napili lang kami ng song. Chill ka lang dyan. Guys,
Is it
hindi
Rico
dumating-
Blanco?
Yeah. Hindi dumating yung V8 ko. Kala ko dadating on time. It was late, so I'm sorry. Wait lang, pakinggan ko muna kung alam ko yan.
Okay.
Hindi ko siya alam, pero I like. Ano pa, guys?
Pa yan. Okay.
Ano ba?
Go.
Oh, Blanco. Blanco. Ano ba?
It's Rico Blanco.
Ano na? Okay, okay na kayo sa sa Your Universe? Is it called Your Universe? Yeah.
Yeah, Rico Blanco.
Uy, gitara daw. May gitara ka ba?
Hindi, gitara yung song. Sira yung gitara ko.
Wait, gitara yung song? What?
Gitara yung title ng song, I guess. Yung
No,
ba
it
yun?
says Your Universe.
No, there's another song called Gitara.
Sige. Bilisan na natin. Quincy.
Hindi, one
Okay,
song
go,
lang.
go,
Yung
go.
Your Universe na lang. Sige.
Tingnan natin.
Teka lang. Wala ako stand. Wait.
Ayoko nga, Gail. May guest ako, papagudin mo ako. Wala na nga akong electric fan ngayon. Pinapatay nyo kasi nakakahiya naman sa inyo. Init-init. Turtleneck pa ako. Magilaw kasi kanina naulan.
Wait sorry. Let me know kung maingay yung...
Paypayan kita.
Okay lang ba yung audio?
Yeah.
Or mahina? Okay lang?
Yeah.
I need to prepare.
Go, Sir Carl.
myself.
Type ko nga yung lyrics para I can follow along.
Teka, may hirap sa timing niyo.
Wait, kinakabahan ka? Hindi. Singer ka ba talaga?
Before. Nung
Hindi
college,
singer
high
ka.
school.
Okay,
Hindi
go
na
na.
for a long time.
Guys, sing
Hey,
along
wait.
by typing in the comment section.
Okay.
Taray daw before. Past life yan.
Uy, nawala. Wait, sorry.
Blanco. Ano ba? Rico Blanco.
Okay, game. Tell me something when the rain falls on my face. How do you quickly replace it with a golden summer smile? Tell me something when I'm feeling tired and afraid. How do you know just what to say to make everything alright? I don't think that you even realize the joy you make me feel when I'm inside your universe. You hold me like I'm the one who's precious. I hate to break it to you, but it's just the other way around. You can thank your stars all you want, but I'll always be the lucky one. Tell me something when I'm about to lose control. How do you patiently hold my hand and gently calm me down with passion? Tell me something when you sing and when you laugh.
More feeling daw, wag ka daw
What do
masyado
I
relax.
always photograph? My heart flying way above the clouds. I don't think that you even realize the joy you make me feel when I'm inside your universe. You hold me like I'm the one who's precious. I hate to break it to you, but it's just the other way around. You can thank your stars all you want, but I'll always be the lucky one. Hindi at tumitingin kasi yung comments, natawa ko.
Thanks to Rian and everyone. Thank you so much.
I don't think that you even realize the joy you make me feel when I'm inside your universe. You hold me like I'm the one who's precious. I hate to break it to you, but it's just the other way around. You can thank your stars all you want, but I'll always be the lucky one. Taas yata to. You can thank your stars all you want, but I'll always be the lucky one. I'll always be the lucky one. Yan, tapos na yan.
Wow! Thank you, thank you. Wala akong pampaklap,
The
pero
lucky one.
galing!
Clap ko yung sarili ko.
Woohoo! Thank you to everyone! Diba? Oh, ang galing. Ayan, napaka-mooniverse
Thank
na yung si
you.
Gail.
Thank you, thank you.
Guys. Thank you so much. Carlito, thank you so much for singing. Kasi nung first time ka namin nakinig ni Amanda kumanta, you guys were somewhere
What?
na umakyat kayo.
Saan?
No, umakyat ka sa isang audio live. Yung Team Gail ata yun or something.
Ah,
Basta
okay. So,
pinarinig sa amin ni
naka-loudspeaker si Gail?
Of course. Siyempre,
Ah,
magkasama kami nun eh. What
okay.
Gail hears,
Fine.
we hear then. But yes, thank you, Carlito, for doing that performance, that song, na may ano pa, nakita ka pa. Like, on cam. Yun ang sinasabi nila kanina. On cam pa
Ah,
daw.
okay.
Wow. So, yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Ano, naku, isa pa daw. Guys, mahiya naman kayo, Carlito. Ginest lang ko lang siya. Naging mental health advocate. Sinagot ang mga questions nyo. Ngayon, pinakanta niyo pa. Ang susunod niyan, 'pag nag-guest ulit siya sa iba naman, 'di ba? Abang-abangan niyo. For sure.
Sinasabi nila yung para sa akin kasi
Ano 'yun?
may
Ano
joke
ba
sila
'yun?
sa para sa akin ni City.
Ay, hindi ako magaling sa song.
Talaga di mo alam yun?
Yeah, hindi 'to Quincy FM, I'm sorry. Kay Gale FM mo tanong.
Ikaw, gusto mo
Hindi
pa
ko
ba isa?
alam.
Okay lang naman.
Oh, gusto
Yung
niyo
para
pa bang
sa
isa,
akin.
guys? O sige, para sa akin. Last na. For everyone watching here, for all the Team Quincy's and Team Gales watching here, and Team Carlito, this is for you guys. Go. Huwag nga kayo makakarsi dyan. Ano ba? This is for all of you guys. Go, go, go. Last song daw.
May joke kasi sila dyan sa para sa akin.
Ano ba? Sabihin mo muna sa akin yung joke.
Sige, hindi ako magbabasa ng comment. Kasi yung song na to, lagi itong piniplay sa reception ng kasal. Pag
Mhm.
uma-attend ka ng kasal dito sa Pilipinas, yung bands, lagi nilang pinapatugtog yung para sa akin.
Aha,
And
and?
literal na yung kapag pagtatayo na yung mga table na parang, picture with the bride and groom, tapos kukuha na kayo sa buffet table. Laging para sa akin yung song.
Di ba
Na
alam ko tong kantang to?
feeling ko, dapat alam mo.
Tingnan
Okay.
natin. Sana nanonood yung girlfriend mo. Para makinig naman niya
And then
kumakanta
sa
ka.
meeting yun, naririnig naman niya ako kumanta. So,
Guys, screen record nyo, tag nyo ang girlfriend ni Carlito.
walang nakakakilala.
Ay, wala!
Ay, si Gail kilala.
Si
Si Gail kilala.
Gail, itag mo na. Gaily.
Wait. Hindi ako titingin sa comments kasi nakakatawa yung comments.
Bakit magiging nakakatawa?
Kasi nasa reception na tayo ng kasal.
Kanta lang naman.
Oo nga, pag binasa ko yung comments, nasa reception na tayo ng kasal.
Hindi ko gets.
Magbasa ng
Gets.
comments. Kung ika'y magiging akin, hindi ka na muling luluha pa. Pangakong ikalolokohin ng puso kong mahal. Kung ako ay papalarin, na ako'y iyong mahal na rin. Pangakong ikaw lang ang iibigin, magpakailanman. Di kita pipilitin, sundin mo pa iyong damdamin. Hayaan na lang tumibok ang puso mo para sa akin.
Ang kalat nyo sa
Baka yung
comment
comments.
section. Ano ba?
Kung ako ay mamalasing at meron ka ng ibang mahal, ngunit patuloy ang aking pag-ibig, magpakailanman. Di kita pipilitin, sundin mo pa iyong damdamin. Hayaan na lang tumibok ang puso mo para sa akin. Okay na yun.
Yay!
Kasi mahaba pa to.
Carlito, wow! I actually know that song a little bit.
Yes,
Pero
diba?
kinakanta siya
Sikat
sa
siya.
reception. Reception?
Most weddings kakantahin yan sa reception. Lagi.
Hindi pa ako na-invite sa wedding ulit recently. Kung may mga ikakasal dyan, invite niyo ako. Okay, but thank you, Carlito, for
Thank
that
you,
wonderful
Quincy.
song. Thank you for sharing your brain, your knowledge, ang katalinuhan mo, ang voice mo, and your presence here on It's Quincy. Everyone truly enjoyed your presence, and thank you so much talaga. Pero before I let you go say your thanks sa mga nanood, and go take it away. Kung ano mong gusto sabihin mo, take the floor.
Okay, thank you everyone for taking the time to join us today. Hopefully what we talked about, would help you make your lives better, feel better, ganyan. Yeah, yun lang naman. Wala naman akong regular stream or anything. Pero
You
I think
should.
walang time eh. Pero sige, I mean,
Yung regular stream.
just try to live a good life. I mean, I've told this to some people already yesterday, pero hopefully you take the time to live a good life day in and day out. Thank you, Quincy,
Love
for
it. Thank you.
inviting me as
Picture
well.
now. Picture. Because this stream didn't happen if there's no pictures, right?
Wait, anong
Ah.
picture?
Hindi
Heart
ako
daw.
nagka-heart pick. Hanggang ganito lang ako.
O, ganyan na lang.
Ganito tayo. May girlfriend si Carlito, huwag kayo.
Crush ka niya,
Ikaw,
actually.
heart. Anong name? I want to stalk her. Gail, padala mo naman akong picture ng girlfriend. Bilis na.
Send ko sa'yo mamaya. Pero crush ka niya.
Talaga. Sana nanood siya. The one. Si The One. Okay, picture,
Wait,
picture.
okay.
Yay! Thank you, Carlito, Team Gail, Team Carlito, of course, my Team Quincy, and all the viewers of It's Quincy. Thank you so, so much. Were you gonna say something?
Wala.
Ah, wala. Okay. Nakapag-goodbye ka na. Oops na.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Carlito. Until next time that we virtually meet again or meet in person. Thank
Let's
you so,
see.
so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye,
Thanks, everyone.
Carlito.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wow! Nakapag live tayo with Carlito. Thank you guys so, so much. I hope you learned something. I know there were some serious sides to the stream, but also some fun aspects of the stream. And that's what we try to do. We try to make it as, as educational as we can. Ay, Gail! Umakyat ka! Gail, akyat ka! Ginawa sa akin ni Gail yun dati, hindi ko siya nakita. Pero ngayon nakita ko siya. Hoy, BGC daw, Gail. Ay, mapapagalitan kami. Pero baka hindi sila nanonood, Gail. Wow. Sorry, Ate Jed, if you're there. Ate Jo. Hello. Si Gail yun, hindi ko yung kasalanan. Okay. Yes, I do want to say thank you guys, and I hope if you guys are going through something in your life, don't worry, you are not alone. You know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, seek help. Everyone around you is willing to help you and they love you so so much. Diba, Gail? Diba? Oh, tinan mo, ang ganda-ganda. Ay, si Gail, ganyan lang yung panggulo. Oh, tinan mo. Grabe. Pero yeah, Gail, kailangan mo kantahin yung full song ng BGC sa Gail FM when I visit. Okay, yes. Okay na. I love you guys all. Thank you so much again to my queenies, my team Quincy, team Gail, who's also very supportive of Carlito and also me and of course Gail and team Carlito. Sa mga lahat na nanonood, thank you guys so so much. It's been a wonderful evening. It's a Tuesday evening and I hope to see you guys back here on Friday. We have two guests coming on Friday. A different kind of topic, kulitan, chill Friday evening tayo. If you guys want to join us on Friday at 7:30 p.m. here on It's Quincy. If you haven't followed me yet on all my social media sites, please do so. The link is in my Kumu bio. Thank you guys so, so much. Yes, yung kaldereta, I'll be sure to do that in about 2 weeks. Schedule natin yan. To everyone who watched, so sorry if I wasn't able to say all my thanks for you guys, pero I love you guys so, so much. And let me read the gifters, of course. Saint Anne, as always, maraming salamat to you. Tita Rian. Gail. Thank you, of course, Gail. The stream wouldn't be the same without her Gaily. Javelin, of course, thank you so much. Chang, thank you. Strong Gail, QT Waps. Thank you, Erica Perez, Strug Gail, of course, see Ray, see Chris, see Dong, see Jackie, see Jonalyn, see Vicky, see Candy, see Hyperactive, see Wang, see Paper Jam, see Gay for Gail, Leah, Gertz, and Erica and everyone else, top viewers, top tutors, top commenters, and everyone who engaged with us. Thank you guys so, so much. I love you. Have a beautiful Tuesday evening. Once again, love you all. And top lovers, of course. Mwah! Goodbye, everyone. Gail, I'll see you tomorrow at our dance class. Thanks, Ita Rian. Thank you, everyone. Love you all. Bye-bye.